What's up everyone, my name is Daniel, welcome to the channel if you're new. This video is going to be a complete beginner guide on how to correctly open and scale a Type beat channel and have it monetized in 30 days. It's the same blueprint, I've applied it to get results like this on my main channel, but I've also have all of these other ones that I managed to blow up and get them viral and monetized. And I also get beat sales as well. So this is like some pretty good results that I do not show because I want to brag, but simply to show you that I'm not just gonna be yapping about bullshit in this video, okay? I'm telling you, even if you do not know what Type beats are, if you do not know how the business model works, or even if you never opened a Type beat channel before, or maybe you've had it years ago and now you do not know how the game works, this video is for you. Like, I'm literally going to be cover everything you need from A to Z, bro. I'm telling you. This can easily be the last video you'll need to watch if you want to start a channel and grow it in 2026. Without wasting any more of your time, bro, let's just get right straight to the sauce. So let's get started. As you can see here, I have the complete roadmap here in front of me. We're gonna go over everything step by step, and I'll also be putting the timestamps in this video so that you can skip to whatever part you think fits you the best, even though I still recommend to watch the whole thing because there's a chronological order and logical sense in every step. So if you just miss one, your whole channel can pretty much fall off. Before we even talk about how to scale a Type beat channel and everything like that, let's first talk about the actual basics, like what are even Type beats and why they work so well. I'm explaining pretty much how the business model works, okay? So you definitely have seen some type of videos like this where there's like a title, the free tag in some of them, you know, the Type beat may be associated with an artist or a genre, and then the beat title, right? And a lot of guys are pulling hella views and hella eyeballs on their brand. But the first question that many people ask, especially when they're not familiar with this Type beat game, is why are we putting the free tag if these beats are not technically free? Now, this is the first thing, because are these beats actually free? I'm gonna explain it on how I basically see Type beats, right? This is pretty much like the glass that shows you what's inside a shop, okay? Type beats are pretty much the same fucking thing. So you're seeing something displayed on YouTube, which is basically free advertisement for your beat. So when artists click on a video like this, bro, not gonna lie, yeah, they can steal it. Like, they can easily go to YouTube to MP3 and they can steal and download your shit for free. But that's not the point, all right? Because what you're selling is a licensing usage to these beats. So YouTube is serving you as pretty much a free advertising for you. And do you know what's even the best thing is that you are gonna get paid to advertise your own beats because of YouTube ads. And we're gonna talk about this later when I actually touch on the difference between, you know, all of type of niches and stuff like that. There's some cases, for example, on my channel where I get paid more from ads than the actual beat sales. And that's crazy because it's pretty much a business model where you get paid to advertise your own shit, which you're also selling. So, you know, it's gonna be beat sales plus all the ad revenue that you get from the views. And that's why they're so great, because it's like a shop, okay? You're showcasing your product for free. You don't gotta pay. YouTube is everything is free. I mean, you're also getting paid pretty much. And artists are gonna click on these videos if they like them and they're a serious artist. Or, you know, if I get a song, it could be even a fucking placement. All of the placements I got that you see on my Instagram came from my YouTube channel. Then the song gotta get cleared, you're gonna get paid as a producer. Are they actually free? This free tag that you see right here is usually like just a catch that right now it's pretty much like every Type beat has it, it's part of the structure, but it's free for non-profit. So it's of course free to download. I also offer free download on my beat store. But of course, like if you want to monetize a song, you want to upload it on every streaming platform, you gotta purchase a license for them. Okay, so that's how it works. And the association, the way I associate them with the shop, I think it makes really sense because it's pretty much what it is. Now, how does this business model actually works? It's simple. First of all, the really great thing about it is that it's all passive. So realistically, you could be spending 30 minutes a day making a beat and uploading it to your channel, and you could be cool like that. Like, I could be still making my 10K a month just from working 30 to 1 hour every day. Because pretty much everything that I'm doing and everything that you're gonna be doing is upload your beats to YouTube, then by the licensing method pretty much, which is how you license a beat for the usage, you're gonna get paid from the beat sales. This, remember, it also gets you paid from the ads once your channel gets monetized. And then if a song gets actually dropped, you could also be making money out of it, because you're gonna be credited because you collaborated on that project, you made the song possible. Okay, so it's pretty much a circle where every step of the process gets you paid pretty much. And this is how they work. Like, it's not complicated. The type beat term is just basically to associate it with a type of artist, right? So basically the way it works is an artist goes to YouTube to look for their beats, right? Let's say you want to find something that is similar to the Drake vibe, you can just type Drake type beat and you're gonna find it, right? Like, see what happens if I go here and I look up Drake type beat, there's gonna be hella beats popping up. And if I were an artist, I could listen to all of these and there's the beat that I like, then I could purchase it and drop in to make my own song. So up to this point, it's pretty straightforward. Now, let's go over why would you choose type beats compared to any other method that you could use to make money as a music producer. The reason why I really like type beats and why they changed my life is, first of all, bro, I was a nobody. Like, I'm from the middle of nowhere. I'm in a city where there's like 200 inhabitants. I'm not even exaggerating. So there's definitely no music studios or even a music scene close to where I'm from. But thanks to type beats and thanks to basically artists discovering me by me just dropping my shit on YouTube, it literally like made me able to change my life, get placements, build my personal brand, and most importantly also get a stable income from doing what I love doing, which is music. Why type beats are so good? Usually the usual route that any producer wants to take is placements, right? And they sound cool, like it's pretty much the cloud, you know, you going Billboard, all of the things that generally are associated with this stuff. But the reason why I hate this game is because it's pretty much a fucking gamble. And I can talk from experience, bro. I have a video up on this channel where I actually show how much I got paid from my first placement, which was an NLE Choppa placement, where first of all they kind of screwed me over at the beginning, but we pretty much got the clear, so it's nothing important. But up to this point, I only got paid 16 cents out of it. Now, I guess the song is still generating income and stuff, but it has been like 2 years, so it's a dead-ass long game. And 16 cents from a song that has 33 million views is definitely not how you expect the placement game to be and how everyone projects it, right? Bro, I'm telling you, there's gold producers, platinum producers still DMing me because they want to get started with type beats because they see the value of it. And like, there's so many people, so many industry established producers who has texted me and are like, bro, I regret it so much to have quit YouTube. Like, I wish I still had a running channel and still could be making passive income without me focusing too much into it, right? So they're the best thing. And now, let's say you're still making placements, you're still chasing this route. Why is it a gamble? First of all, you gotta have artists that you gotta send your shit out to. Most of the cases, they ignore you. You gotta build your brand. And if you're a nobody, it's pretty much a very hard way to build there's a very hard and difficult chance that these artists are gonna respond to you. After that, these artists, or I mean everybody that works around them, it could even be producers and managers, whatever you're sending to, you gotta hope that they see your message and that they respond, and then that they open your beats and they actually use it. Then you gotta hope that these people drop their song, and then you even gotta hope that they get paid, that you get paid for it. And this is not something that it's obvious, right? Because I told you my story, NLE Choppa, like sometimes you gotta fight to get the money out of a placement, bro, and it can even take a year. So to me, this is not how I like a business to work. Like, I prefer a business where I know that I have control over it and that if I do everything right, there's no way I'm not gonna get paid. So even if artists steal my shit, even if I get a placement and I don't get paid for it, I'm still making views from my AdSense, I'm still making views from my beat sales, and I'm still growing my personal brand without depending on anyone, right? That's why they're so good. And they changed my life and I won't stop glazing them for life. And that's also the point why I'm making this video. They're the perfect place to start. We talk about it. You create placements, passive income, and it builds your brand like crazy. Like, I scale my Instagram all of thanks to type beats. I recently got a placement with fucking G Herbo. These are all the beats sales that I was getting. Look, just in a day, you could be having like 4 or 5 beat sales. Recently, I went to Budapest with my friends. I managed to sell like 7 beats in a day, which is insane. Right? And you could even be selling beats like this just from a YouTube. Now, where's the catch? Everything looks, simple. You just gotta work 30 minutes a day. I even sound like a guru right now talking, and I can kind of see why. But the reason why I'm saying all this is because it's possible and it's simple. It's not easy, okay? That's why I differentiate the words. It's simple once you understand how the game works, but it still takes hella consistency and hella discipline because you're gonna be uploading 20 videos, see no views on them, but you gotta keep uploading, right? It's not something like get rich type of scheme where you just blow up overnight, you become a Billboard producer. That's not how it works. Now we have those all clear, you know how type beats work and pretty much what we're gonna talk about in this video. Let's start talking about what we're actually gonna be covering in this video. So it's pretty much 4 steps, as you can see here. First of all, we're gonna understand how niches works, how you can find one, and how you gotta make sure that it's actually a good niche and that you could be hopping on it. Because if this step breaks, like pretty much nothing is gonna work. If your niche is cooked, it's dead, it's not working, there's no even point in opening a channel and even try to post it on that. Now, how to make the beats? I know many producers think this step is like pretty obvious. It's not, because if you do not have good beats, your channel won't start. Like, you won't get views. You're not just posting some AI slop in here, like you're actually dropping a product that has to be sold. So it gotta be perfect quality and it gotta be extremely good so that artists can go to you and they can actually use your beat. We're also gonna talk about how do I know if I'm good and how do I know if I respect the criteria of a niche that I'm actually hopping on. And also, most importantly, we're gonna talk about how to make your beats go viral. So pretty much the structure you gotta use and the techniques I use in the actual beats. So apart from the strategy on YouTube on how I actually make them go viral, because this is pretty much like 70% of the process. Like, even if your strategy is a little bit cooked, if your beats are really, really good, you could still be getting views, but it doesn't work the other way around, okay? And that's why I see many producers feel like they're doing anything wrong. They're not, they just don't have good beats. But we're gonna talk about how to get them to YouTube level. Then we're gonna talk about the essentials of the YouTube algorithm. So what you need to understand in order to actually read the data of your videos and how to scale your channel. Because pretty much if you do not understand what is working or not for your channel, you're cooked. We're gonna talk about the importance of titles and thumbnails. This comes also with the CTR and how to boost it. The retention and watch time, this has more to do with the actual beat, so it's really related to this step here. And then the branding, and this is more for like long term, and it's actually it's probably more connected to the step here. So when you actually start to get uploaded, and this is where the actual strategy comes into place, right? So where the importance of everything we talked about, titles, thumbnails, your beats also do play a huge role when it comes to branding and everything. Even the niche, this is pretty much connected to everything, and it's the most important step if you want to correctly monetize a type beat channel. If I go on YouTube, there's gonna be hella producers here, so how the fuck do you even stand out? It almost seems impossible, but trust me, we're gonna see that there's a space for everyone in this business model. That's why it's so good. And because we're not robots, every human and every music and the music that we make is different from one another. So it's just a way to market the way we want to express ourselves. So we're still talking about a business model, but remember, we're doing this simply because we want to show our music to the world, okay? So this is not just a money-making scheme. Like, you still gotta love music, because guess what? If you do not have the consistency and love what you do not fall in love with the process, you're gonna get demotivated real soon. I've talked with producers who thought that this was just a making money stuff where, they could start and make money right away. I even had people thinking about uploading AI beats on YouTube, but that's not how it works, okay? So if you're that type of person, you can click off this video. But this being said, let's go over every step one by one, and let's see exactly how to start this channel from A to Z in the best way possible. So we're gonna first talk about how to look for a niche. Now let's talk about the first step in order to create a successful type B channel, which is actually looking for a good niche. Like, if you do not choose your niche wisely, there's not a point in even opening and start to upload beats on your channel, because this is the foundation of the whole thing. If the niche is cooked, is on a dead artist, is not getting views for others, it's not gonna give views also for you, right? So we gotta talk about the strategy that I use in order to find successful niches, how to correctly position yourself in one of them so that you can start getting views pretty much. Now, here I have a general guideline of the different type of niches that are mainly on YouTube, right? These are the most popular ones, and I try to kind of put them in a group so that you can have a general idea on how they work. Because yes, type beats are related to an artist, but it doesn't mean that if I want to do Lil Tecca beats, I'm just gonna use Lil Tecca pictures, or if I want to do a Lil Baby beat, I just gotta use a Lil Baby picture, right? Type beats work pretty much as a stock, and every kind of niche has their own aesthetic and stuff that works better. Now here are the most important sections. One of them is, for example, using GERB pics. This is usually used for R&B, trap soul beats. This is how they look like, kinda. So for example, this was an R&B beat. This is a Vince. I'm actually working one-on-one with him, and this is the channel I helped him blow up. And as you can see, we use the girl picture for something related to R&B, or for example, also this one, you know, it's just a different style of picture. And even here, yeah, they're girl pics, but all of this kind of look different. Okay, so this style is different from this style, and they're, you know, they're all different one to another. So this is kind of the general guideline, and it usually works for this more like chill beats, even acoustic guitar type of shit. So usually you see it on R&B, acoustic guitar type beats. You could be seeing it, and I don't know, like something just that pretty much shows like a chill vibe to it, right? Because that's the thing. Niches also do work on vibe, and usually the aesthetic that goes with these thumbnails follow pretty much this concept. Okay, R&B doesn't have a stable artist, or even in this case, like there's not an artist that is being mentioned, so you can't really put an artist in here, and it's best to actually not. You're gonna be seeing Drake type beats that do not have a Drake picture in them, right? For example, Hood is what I'm actually doing. I do splurge beats pretty much, and this is the pretty much the space that I chose for my niche, and they're usually characterized by these outfit pics, usually something like hood related, like money, could be guns, you know, thugs, all of this. And the niches, you probably have seen some of these, but for example, Splurge, this is what I'm doing. So Lazy War Go, it's usually aggressive beats. For example, Big Scar, right now One Off is also trending. So there's a bunch of different examples that I could be making you, but this is pretty much like the aggressive style. And even in this case, Splurge, right, bro, he's not a famous artist. Like, I have more subscribers than the actual artist, but why do they work so well? Because this is heavily related to the sound. Like Lazy Wargo, Splurge, they all have their really specific type of beats that people do fuck with. Okay, so even in this case, it's not about the artist, it's about the mood that you create the channel around. And it's the same reason why I can make a Splurge beat and use a gun picture without showcasing like the actual artist, because it's about the style, right? So hood beats are really aggressive, so you want to use an aggressive kind of style hood related pick, right? You can tell that I could not be using a pick like this for a hood beat, because it definitely does not matches the vibe, and it doesn't work also the other way around. Like, you definitely won't never see a thumbnail like this on an R&B beat. Okay, now going to the underground, this is more for like as the word says, like underground artists. Young Chris used to be really popular. It's actually the first channel I ever opened was related to Young Chris. They usually use the keyword sample. It's underrated artists. Underground artists, like for example Playboy Max recently. Here's an example of Hood Drap X Jerk X DJS type beat. I think that's how you say it. And as you can see, like even the style that these beats are being projected to, this is all non-capital letters in the titles, right? So we're gonna talk about this later, but even this do make a difference, like even in the way you present your beats. So this is more like low quality, low effort kind of looking videos. I know it sounds weird, but it's pretty much how it is. For example, in this case, you see we put a free in all capital letters, and we use a capital letter for the initial of every word. And there small differences like this do make a huge do play a huge role when it comes to getting views, because it's more aesthetically pleasing to the audience that is watching this, right? So this looks more, again, underground, low effort, and that's why it works for this niche. Same way goes with with R&B beats. You want to have everything, every initial letter capitalized. Okay. Going to mainstream, this is more for like famous artists. For example, Future X, Metro Boomin has been really going crazy recently, and these are all big artists, right? You see Gunna, Young Thug. I actually opened also a Big X Plug type beat channel, and you see the thumbnails that usually go well with these are the actual artist picture. So this is an actual example where you could still use an artist picture and make it work in a good way, because these are famous artists, so it makes sense, right? If you target Gunna, everybody pretty much know who Gunna is, so it's cool for you to use a picture of him. Or for example, Big X the Plug, this actually works both ways. I've seen Big X the Plug channels where they focus more on the aesthetic, others where they just put Big X the Plug pics. For example, I went for this route and I managed to scale my channel to almost 10,000 subs, and I actually have a beat to 2 million views. As you can see here, this is my channel, and I'm following what I'm saying because it works, right? I'm not just saying this shit out of my ass. this is the video. Okay, so we're gonna talk about even my channels later just to make examples, but just to make sure that you know I'm following these strategies. Freestyle videos, these are more like trap generic beats. The rule pretty much is the more generic you go, and the more keywords and tags there gotta be in your video, right? Because freestyle beat, right, it's hell of a generic like keyword, right? You're not even putting an artist in there, not even a style, like it's just freestyle beat. So for example, the pictures are usually like really cartoonish, or sometimes they go about the vibe of it as well, like here. But you see how many keywords they put in their titles, okay? Like trap instrumental 2025 rap beats, they usually capitalize the whole title. Even here, look how many keywords: trap type beat, freestyle beat, type beat, hard type beat, rap type beat 2025. If I would have put this shit on a splurge beat, you can tell it doesn't make sense, alright? So even the thing of people thinking the more tags I have on my video, the more is gonna be recommended, and the highest the SEO score is gonna be, that's complete bullshit. Like, it's not how it works. But it makes sense for a niche like this, okay? Even in this case, you do not see artist pictures because it doesn't make sense. Like, you're not even targeting anyone, okay? So that's about it. And then going to the last one, this is kind of something that has been trending a lot recently, and is more like focused on the up and coming artists. So for example, this is Zay. He's also one of my students, and he opened this YTB Fat sample type beat channel. Again, I'm not sure if this is the YTB Fat or not, but pretty much the strategy he's going over is posting like pictures with jewelry on them, like flexy kind of selfies. I can show you his channel and what he's doing, and you're gonna realize soon enough like kind of what's the strategy about it, right? You see all like jewelry pictures, selfie kind of style, and this is what he's focusing on. And even here, this is about the aesthetic, not really the artist, because a lot of these pictures, they're not YTB Fat on them, okay? So that's how it works. And usually they're new artists, not really mainstream. They're kind of in the middle from underground and mainstream. They're like kind of the middleman for this. You see, for example, Fat Mac has been going crazy recently, YFG, Fatso, all of these artists here, they work really well. Sometimes you could be having their picture on there, sometimes they just work without them. So this, for example, are really recent, really similar style of pictures. So you see, it kind of works like that, okay? This comes to the aesthetic of them. Now let's talk about what's the actual difference if you had to open a channel in one niche or the other. The biggest difference, and the way I differentiate niches and the type of channel I'm about to create. Let's just say there are two types of channels, okay? One that is gonna be viral heavy, one is gonna be a micro niche. The difference is, in this case, the AdSense and the views are gonna be way higher. So you're gonna get paid more from AdSense than the actual beat sales. Here, for example, there's my channel, and this is what I'm actually focusing on. Mine is a viral heavy niche. So I get hella views, I get paid more from AdSense than the actual beat sales, because my audience is more interested in actually freestyling to these beats, not really downloading them or like paying for them, okay? So neither one is good or bad, by the way. Like, you know, it's just about a strategy that is different. So if you open a micro niche like this, you don't expect a beat to get 1 million views. While if you open a viral heavy niche, you really gotta push for those heavy viral videos that get you hella views like this, right? To me, this is more exposure. That's why I decided to go for this route. But the audience that watches these videos is pretty cooked. It means that you're gonna be getting way less sales. For example, when my channel, my Big X channel was running, I was getting way more sales from this channel. Like, this is probably my most sold beat, all of these ones, even though they have less views, okay? This was more like kind of in the middle of a viral heavy and micro niche. That's why it was getting me more sales. But for example, here, micro niche channel, the beat sales are gonna be way better than the AdSense. This is my student channel, Rodrigo, and he just hit a 10K month just from this type beat channel. Like, this beat here, he sold it for $3,000, which is insane, right? And like, it only has 56,000 views from a month ago. That's why it's so insane. And him being able to make 10K a month just from a small channel like this tells you how potential there's also is on niches like this. Again, which is better, which is not, bro, it depends. Like, if you like making aggressive like hood beats, this is your way to go. Like, those are the beats that I used to like making. That's why I couldn't go for really like a really specific niche like this, but all of them pay good. So you know, it's really just about the niche you find and just understanding which way you're going. Okay, now let's go over the important stuff now. How do I know if my niche is good? Okay, you want to be checking for this because once we're gonna do market research, I'm gonna be showing it in a couple of minutes. We want to look at these green flags and red flags in order to know if the niche or the artist, like the genre I'm looking at, is actually good. The first thing I look at is the upload frequency. This channel that I'm showing here, you see it uploads every day, right? 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So this means that this channel is organic, while a channel that's not organic, which means it's buying views, is gonna have beats uploaded every like month or week and getting really unrealistic views. Now you might be like, bro, this guy's getting hella more views than this guy. Why would I just buy views myself? The reason is I've had a conversation with a producer and I know these guys are spending hella money to buy views like this and it's not worth it. Like in my opinion, I'm not shitting on these guys. It's just their strategy and what they like doing is not what I suggest to do, because I was splitting shares on this beat that I made with another producer because initially he wasn't giving my splits, right? So we started splitting 50-50 because I gave him the loop. And he was like, bro, if I give you 50% of the beat sales of this beat, I'm barely gonna be making money because I'm about to go negative for the money I'm spending to promote this beat. I was like, what? You're about to go negative if you just split 50-50 with another producer? That's crazy to me, okay? While if you make a channel like this, you get everything, like from the sales, from the views, everything is organic. Also the people who watch you, like out of these views, I don't know how many of them are like USA audience, which is usually the best ones to buy views, right? To buy beats. So even the AdSense is gonna be way lower because the people looking at these videos are gonna be all over the world, and usually just the audience that pays more for AdSense is US, right? So that's why I don't really like it. After that, there's consistent views. So we're gonna be checking if the channels that we open are actually still getting views and recently, okay? We want to look at recent videos. For example, this is my boy Easy. He's still doing really good. These are like really stable views. It means that this niche is a safe one, okay? If I had to hop on something like this, I'm sure that this guy is getting consistent views, so it's working for him, right? While if this was something around 100 views, even though the most popular beat had maybe a million, it's still not a good decision for us to hop on a niche like that, because it means that it's just a one-hit wonder channel, which is what I put here in the red flags, right? We want to avoid this at all costs, because of course we want to do it also in the long run. Now we're also gonna be looking at the popular videos. This is usually the ratio I follow, okay? So when I check out the most popular videos, I at least want to look for something that it's either around like, you know, 300k, 500k, like a really popular beat. For example, here you see I put this channel in 5 months, it got 1.5 million views, which is really, really good, okay? Or in case like it's more of a micro niche channel, or maybe it's like just a smaller niche in general. For example, I'm thinking about Lil Tony, or for example, a niche like this, right? They're new. There's just producers doing these beats now, so you know they maybe need time to grow. Usually I look at around, like for example, 100k a month for views. It's really good. It means that a beat is really going crazy viral. But for example, I recently had this beat that got me 100,000 views in 6 days. That means it's a viral beat, okay? So even if it's recent, we know that it's going viral, and it's a good, you know, starting point that we can look at. Or also the other thing is maybe we don't have really this metrics here to look at, because let's say we want to hop on a new niche. Like it could also be a case, right? I did this with my student Tori. He was one of the first one to really do the strategy the way he did it. Okay, this is his channel. He got this channel, this video to 2.2 million views in 8 months, which is insane. And he was one of the first one to start using GER pictures for this style of beats. So it's like NAMS, drill kind of beats. Okay. And even in that case, we go back to this one, right? He was using a GER picks. Why? Because the sound of those beats were chill, okay? So it was kind of a middle of a GER pick and a underground kind of style, okay? So you see, once again, he went for the aesthetic and the vibe of the beat, not really the artist, because not a lot of people know who Nems is. So once again, I think it makes more sense to go about the aesthetic and not really the actual artist. So with this being said, for example, here I put this keyword top up gen. You can see that the graphic is really going up, meaning that this is a hot artist right now, and we could be considering to open a channel in that style. Now, The theory is cool, let's actually put it in practice. I'm gonna be opening YouTube and start looking a niche with you guys, and also kind of explain the process that I follow and the market research steps that I do whenever I start to look for a niche. Alright, so with this being said, let's actually go on YouTube and put this on practice. I'll show you the process I follow pretty much whenever I want to look for a niche. Particularly, take this in mind, okay, because there's gonna be a lot of non-organic channels popping up, so the reason why I pretty much trash some of them and I just choose some specific channels, it's for this reason. So I'll show you how I do it right here. So I like to do it on an incognito tab, and the reason why is because it's gonna recommend us videos without being influenced by our past researches, right? So let's say I'm really into football, there's not gonna be random football videos, you know, popping here. It's just gonna be straight up what is trending on the type beat algorithm, okay? Because maybe if I watched a lot of little baby videos, there's gonna be more little baby type beats, you know, popping up here. So that's why I like doing it with an incognito. And remembering what I just said about non-organic channels, I'm trying to avoid videos that have non-realistic views. For example, this one had 54,000 views in 20 hours. Like, this definitely do not really look realistic, and in fact this guy is not uploading every day. It's really unrealistic views, and in fact if I look at the most popular videos, bro, I'm telling you, if a beat gets 50,000 views in 20 hours, I'm expecting this beat to at least reach 10 million views, okay? Talking from experience, because when you get this amount of views, you gotta keep growing over time. Like, there's no way there is gonna stop. So even the more popular videos here, this is from 5 years ago, right? So this definitely is not organic. It's not a great example we want to look at. Again, different strategy, not shitting on these guys. Everybody can do whatever they want. So pretty much I'm looking for channels that are getting good views in a short amount of time, right? So 1.7 million views in 4 months. This is good. Let's see what this guy's on. 14,000 views in 2 days is also a good example. So let's open that. This could be a good example. 2 weeks ago, 200,000 views. We just gonna open a bunch of ideas here. And also I'm looking for specific like niches, because I don't really like this. For example, future type beat, it's hella saturated, so I'm trying to avoid where that with that. Detroit, we could open this. Right. So we're gonna look at the actual channels. That's the way I like to do it. Now let's see what we'd open here, okay? This first guy is doing this artist called Lith. This is actually a niche that has been going pretty good over the past months. He's uploading every day, so this means that his channel is organic. There's consistent views, right? If you don't know why I'm saying this shit, I'm pretty much following what I said here. So we're gonna look at all the green flags. Let's actually go channel by channel, okay? First of all, we're looking at the upload frequency. Let me close this. And this guy is actually uploading every day, okay? You see, this is 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So that's the first thing that is clear. It's good for us. So it means it's a good channel for the moment. Consistent views, we have that. This guy's pretty much averaging 1,000 views per video. And also about the popular videos, let's take a look at the most popular ones. This one had 1.7 million views in 4 months. This one 900,000 views, yeah, in 5 months. So these are really good viral videos. It means that this channel is really, really good. And then, yeah, I mean, we're skipping this step just because it's a good channel. So we already know that this keyword is trending. So that's how I know, okay, I can start considering hopping on a niche like this. Usually the next step, we're gonna go over this later, but it's also checking the competition. But for the moment, this channel seems legit. Now looking at this one, another thing that I haven't mentioned is also taking a look at the subscriber and video ratio. So for example, this guy has 1.8 thousand subs and 100 videos. It's not the best ratio, so I might consider looking at a channel like this, but it looks like he's still doing good. As you can see, this is 14,000 views in 2 days. Is really good. I mean, this recent video got 2,000 views in 23 hours. The views are a little inconsistent, so this is not really a good sign. But this still like looks like a good channel. So we pretty much, he's uploading every day. It means it's organic. Let's look at the most popular videos. What the fuck? It's so bugged. Wait a second. So this is 100,000 views in 2 months. It could be better. So, you know, this channel is kind of in the middle. That's how pretty much I target them, and I make an idea of what works and what not. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, this guy is not uploading every day. He recently changed strategy, which is not really a green flag for us. he's getting kind of realistic views, even though I still think this niche and this strategy could be done in an organic channel. We also look at the most popular videos. These are actually really popular videos. We see millions of views here, and the subscribers video ratio, it's also good. But I would put this kind of in the middle because it doesn't really look like an organic channel to me. So this is like somewhere here, you know, you could still try to do organic something like this, but it's not as obvious, okay? So that's why. And also we looked at this guy here. He's uploading pretty much every day. It's really good views actually. Subscriber ratio in videos, it's really good. Most popular videos are killing it. So this also looks like a good niche, okay? So this is the first step. And the whole reason why I'm doing this is just to show you how you can select the channels that you want to look at. Now I'm just clicking on random niches, but by following this, it's a really simple process, bro. But I'm telling you, this works for every channel. Some of the steps might be missing, right? For example, new niches like top up gen. You know, in a niche like this, I'm not expecting a video to get hella views, as we said before. But these are really fast growing channels, so it still means that it's a niche that it's worth to hop on, okay? And pretty much we're just not going for these red flags here. So to keep going, if you want to still find really good niches, the way I do it, once I find an organic channel that looks really good to me, you can click on any of their videos, and here on their recommended tab is where the magic really happens, because YouTube is gonna keep recommending you viral videos that are related to this niche, okay? So, example, I have the idea of hopping on a niche that is similar to Hurricane Wisdom, right? So I'm thinking about like kind of Florida beats, sample, chill kind of beats, right? The niches that are gonna be recommended here are gonna be way similar. So, for example, here we see low shimmy, could be good. These guys are also doing Hurricane Wisdom beats. So yeah, future beat is not really related, but there's a lot of viral ideas here, okay? And guess what? If I keep, okay, this is also G Herbo. If I keep this process, right? If I keep doing this strategy, can click on this. Now on the recommended tab, there's gonna be even more type beats. So the more you do it, the more you're training the algorithm. Let's see if I can find any other good idea. This is Gunna X Future could be good. I'm not looking for recent videos even in this case. So let's take a look here. You got Shimmy X Don Tolliver. Never seen something like this, but it looks clean. R&B type beat from Heartbreak. There's actually a guy I know. Like I've been seeing his videos a lot. Gunna X Future. So look how many ideas we have here, right? And I'm not doing anything. I'm not using any crazy software. I'm just taking a look at like what is going on here on YouTube. The reason why I like it so much is because just using vidIQ or TubeBuddy, it's kind of cooked as a method right now. So I prefer to take an actual like practical look at YouTube, okay? And even here, we open niches, we have all of these channels open. Guess what we do? We repeat the same process as we were doing before. So once you open a channel, you start taking a look at it, okay? So this channel actually stopped uploading, which is not a good sign. You look at the subscriber video ratio, this is decent. We look at the most popular ones, it's actually pretty good, right? But since it stopped uploading and low shimmy is probably too specific as a niche right now, I would still skip it, okay? Here we found another Hurricane Wisdom type beat. This is a G Herbo beat, right? And bro, I literally like can't repeat this process forever. Now, this doesn't mean that if I find a good channel, it means that I can just copy his strategy and go over by that, because we're gonna talk about this as the second step, but this is just to do market research, okay? It's just to tell if a niche is worth hopping on or not. And this was just by YouTube. Let's actually take a look at Google Trends, because it's still worth to look at, and how I would use it to understand if a niche is worth hopping on or not. Now, make sure that your settings are put like this. So all over the world, last 5 years and YouTube search, so that you're sure that you're actually looking these terms on just YouTube. And let's look up G Herbo type beat and see how it's performing. So this channel is, this graphic is actually going up, especially recently, right? This is 2025, it has been up all the year. So it means that this niche is actually performing well. And we've also taken a confirmation of this, because then if we take a look on YouTube, we see channels that are performing good. So it still means that, you know, this is a good niche and it's worth to consider hopping on it. And bro, I swear I can repeat this process for every artist that we find here. It's like a cycle that never ends, because you click on a good video, it's gonna be recommending you even better videos. And then if you want to just make sure, you know, of course you click the channel and you do everything that we've said so far, but then you start looking also the keyword here. So for example, Gunna, if I want to look at call numbers, we can do that. We can go here and look up, for example, Gunna type beat and see if it's going up or not. And in fact, it kind of is. 2025 has been up. We can see even like Ganex's future. There's gonna be more specific, so probably it's not the best thing to look up on Google Trends. But you see, it has been really up 2025. Okay, so this is a really good way to kind of make sure if a niche is good or not. All right, and pretty much this is how you look for it. Now let's talk about. So this is the process, the market research process that I follow for the niches. It's a very straightforward one. It's really fast, so I think it's probably the best method right now that you can follow. Again, once you find a niche, now we gotta talk about the branding, because of course, once you find a good channel, it doesn't mean that you can just copy and paste what he's doing. So let's now talk about branding and how you can set up your channel in order to actually like make something that makes sense around your niche. All right, so we just talked about finding our niche, pretty much categorizing the channels based on how good they are, and based on all of this criteria here that we just discussed. So now let's talk about, once we find a niche and a sound that we want to go for, how do we actually differentiate ourselves from everybody else? Because we've said that, okay, cool, like I see a channel that is getting views, let me just copy and paste what he's doing and also let me get the same amount of views. Short answer is not how it works, right? I mean, think also about companies, right? There's like McDonald's and Burger King. It's just the most basic examples I can think of. They're both like very famous fast food chains, right? But why do they have different audiences? It's because they hold brand themselves in a very different but also unique way, right? It's also the same thing where, if you think about it, McDonald's is not the best like food ever, it's like, it's not really, whatever you want to talk about it, but the reason why they're so successful is definitely not because of their food, it's most because of how they market themselves, right? So because of the brand they built. We want to do the same things with our type beats, but guess what? Our beats will be good. So by saying this, going back to the niches that we were looking at before, let's actually, I found also this channel here, and it's not getting bad views, but for example, you see here that Low Shimmy X Don Tolliver, you don't see neither Low Shimmy or Don Tolliver in none of these pictures. So the reason why it's working well is because of the vibe and the aesthetic that makes sense for this type of beats. So I want to do the same exact thing. And the reason why I really like channels based on the vibe is because they get the most amount of views. It's not just about the artist. For example, lit here, there's not a single lit picture. So how exactly do you choose your type of thumbnails? Let's go back to our board here, okay? Now we had differentiated all of these niches here. So basically this is gonna help you choose our thumbnail style, okay? Let's take this lit channel as an example. It's just the most obvious one that I found, and how I would go about it. For example, here we see that all of these channels, first of all, let me just open the whole niche just to see what's going on with it, right? So there's like this green color that is probably this artist brand color that is really popular here, and you either see like girl pictures or car pictures, right? But for example, this channel here is using a different color. So me, if I had to do it, I kind of get the vibe that these channels are going for. For example, look, this is a new one. It's kind of a slightly different thumbnail style. This channel is probably not organic though, so never mind. But we see the vibe that these guys are going for, right? So what I'll do now, I'll just, first of all, I'll create a document and I'll start writing down all of the niches, right? And what we're looking at. So for example, right now we're looking at lead type beats. More specifically, let's write down the thumbnail and the title style that these guys are using. So it's either all capital letters like that. The free tag is always capitalized, but some people are also doing it like this. So it really like doesn't really depends on the niche, but probably since the top guys are all doing it capitalized, we could do something like that as well. So what I do, start writing down what is working, right? So free lead type beat, and then here we put the title like that, right? This is pretty much what everybody here is doing. Now the important part is probably gonna be the thumbnail, so let's also be really specific with that. If you see my Pinterest folder, like my Pinterest account, I have a shit ton of folders based on every niche that I'm pretty much want to go for, right? So I want to do the same exact thing here. Only thing is this thumbnails that I have currently saved here, none of them match really the lead vibe. So what you could do is just look up like girl car pic, see what pops up. Oh, nothing. Let's see if there's anything that makes sense here. Probably like something like this. It's already close to the vibe we want to go for. Boom, we have right there Just need some good finds, and all of these are really good for our niche, because there's a car, there's a girl, they're all really similar, even with like the type of colors that we're going for. So what I'll do now is I'll download one of these, but since these channels are really heavy based on a color, either if it's blue or green as we've seen, that's what I'll try to do now. So I'll go on Canva and I'll try to make it look similar to what is going on in this niche, right? But if I had to do it myself, I would probably use a color that is gonna make us differentiate. So that's how you start pretty much building your brand, right? So the important thing is you keep these thumbnails organized. So I'll go on Pinterest here and I'll start making a folder. Let's call this lead beats, like this. Boom, lead type beats, and we're gonna say start saving all of these pics here. I'm trying to aim for pics that have like a stable like ratio on the width and length. For example, something like this has too much width and not really a lot of length, so I'll probably just try to avoid that. But let's save all of these other pictures are all good, so we're just gonna save them like this. Anywhere where there's like a girl in a car, this makes sense. And now the important thing is you always want to make them also in a similar kind of file size. For example, a ratio like this, it's clean to me. If the pics is already like looking like this, taking too much space, I'll try to avoid that. So always try to crop them whenever the size is not really fitting the YouTube, you know, like say spot pretty much for the type beats. Now for filters, let's see if there's any like night vision thing that we can apply to it. For example, this is purple, and it could work. Now these are not the best filters actually. For example, this it's already looking like more green, and now Canva is probably not the best option for this, but pretty sure that if I put this on CapCut, we're gonna have some better versions of it. But this is pretty much to say that whenever you're wanting to create this these channels here, you want to find a way to differentiate yourself, right? So once we find what's the aesthetic that is working, we want to make it in a unique way. And for example, now what I thought is, why not make this type of thumbnails in a different color? Because pretty much the strategy is always the same. So I try to do something like that, and that's what I'll do. But general guideline is usually like understanding which niche these relate to. For example, this, I'll definitely go with the girl pics, and then we start adding our unique twist to it so that it makes a difference. A really good example is this guy Bankroll Vix. He actually hopped on my same niche, splurge beat, but again, look what he did. All of his beats use this kind of picture style, right? But he's not using the same type of pictures that I'm using, which are more similar to this, right? I use like the kind of hood outfit pick. So if he would have just copy and pasted my strategy, probably would have just blended between my beats and would have really blown up, right? Because that's the style that I'm using. But look, if you compare my beat to this one, there's a really like big difference in the type of style, and the title is pretty much identical. The only thing that is differentiating him is that he specialized on the actual like Glock, whatever gun picture it is, right? So even a small difference like this plays a huge role. For example, the thing I did before is just change the color on my girl picture that I was using. Here it just changed the subject. It's still hood related. If I had to do something underground, let's say Plagueboy Max are really going crazy beats, Plagueboy Max beats are really going crazy, and they all use this type of pictures. Maybe why not using a girl picture myself, because it's still similar in that style. This is still that kind of IG girl, low quality kind of picture that I put here in underground. If as you see, and if you want, you can take a screenshot of this. I actually recommend you to do it, just so you have like this kind of like thing in front of yourself, and it helps you associate things. Or for example, mainstream, right? There were car pictures really going crazy with even Gunna beats, but for example, if I want to do it different, I can just use a Gunna picture, and like it's not a big deal, right? We gotta add our own twist to it, and it's not a big thing. It's just important in order to differentiate ourselves, but we still gotta do it related to the niche that we're hopping on, okay? And so that's the way I do it. I highly recommend you to use Pinterest, and the way you want to do it, as you see here, I have a folder for every niche I hop on. So there's a style, I actually create a folder for it. These are the hood pictures I use. For example, I had one for Party Next Door X Drake, and all of these are like really similar, you see? So that's what I'm doing here. Now another way to also differentiate yourself, it's pretty much by changing a little thing of the title. So for example, let's say we're talking about Drake type beats. Now, this niche as it is, it's really saturated, right? Because Drake is a really big artist. It has been in a type beat game for hella time, so there's countless of producers that are really successful. It doesn't really make sense for you to hop on this niche as it is right now. So the way you want to do it is transform it into more of a micro niche kind of thing. So for example, I mentioned Party Next Door before. Why not put it in the title? They're related artists, so it's probably gonna be better to use a title like this rather than just Drake type beats. Or and that's one thing, so changing the title, and that's like, I would say, option one. You could even use other keywords as an example. I'll take my channel. When I started doing my splurge beats, there were already other successful channels doing splurge. The reason that the thing that differentiated me was putting the title keyword in here, right? So I was doing splurge type beat 2022 was the year where I started the channel, and you can see 5th beat I uploaded 300,000 views. It's like a life-changing tip right here. So that could be also one thing. For example, in our case, it could be Drake type beat 2026. Even though in this case, when you're adding like only the title, it's not really changing a lot of our strategy. So this probably makes sense if it's a small niche already. Okay, like could be like, for example, Lil Yachty. I could be putting 2026 in there. If it's just Drake, I would keep it as it is right now. So we're Party Next Door like that, or we transform it into a micro niche. So for example, the Drake style, if I like Drake beats, it doesn't necessarily mean I only have that niche at my disposal. I have a countless of students who, when they start working one-on-one with me, for example, they say, oh yeah, I like making Future type beats, but Future is saturated as a niche, so I'm just cooked. No, because those type of beats could relate to a lot of other niches that are really different from Future. It's the same thing here. So for example, with Drake, I could think about Black, for example. I could be doing Black type beats, or for example, I could be doing like just the R&B keyword, and I could be doing something like this, right? For this, I don't really have a general guideline. That's why I'm making these videos, but they're not everything, because information is one thing, putting it in practice is another. That's why I work one-on-one with students, and like I can actually give you a personalized roadmap based on your situation, what you like making, and what I see is working at the moment. The link is gonna be in the description if you're interested, but just by keeping up with the video, just know that you can transform every keyword into a micro niche. Like even splurge, if you transform it into something more like generic, it could be Sleazy Worgo or any other artist, right? It's the same thing here. Like once you do R&B, you can micro niche it into a whole bunch of different options, okay? And that just helps you to build your brand in an authentic way. Now we're gonna talk more about branding here and when we're talking about the upload process, but for the moment, this is everything you need to know for the niche. Now let's go over how to actually make your beat so good that buyers just come to you, and views is just a natural effect of you continuing to upload on your channel. When it comes to actually making the beat, this is a really important part. Remember, we were talking about how this pretty much plays like a 70% role in making your channel blow up, is because you want to show your product, but if this product is not good, people are gonna click off the video. And guess what happens if people click off your video? The retention and watch time just gets cooked, and your video is not gonna get pushed into the algorithm. That's how YouTube works, okay? So the way we want to make our beat good, I separated in 3 steps, and they're all crucial because this actually applies to the metrics and data that you're going to give to YouTube and basically how people are going to engage with your content. So we're going to first talk about the actual quality and mixing, most importantly, because beats gotta be sounding clean, especially the drums. You still gotta remember the artists are gonna be looking at those beats, so we gotta make them easy to freestyle on. And also there's this thing that I really like saying, and is that if you go simple, you pretty much can never go wrong, right? So good and simple are usually really close. There's this difference between type beats and industry beats. If you hear industry beats, usually it's not more than an 8-bar loop, and it doesn't have that much of a long intro, and it's usually more complex beats. When we're talking about type beats, right? So here I'm just mentioning strictly type beats. We gotta make them simple and engaging. Like if it was a video from your favorite YouTuber, which is me right now. So we gotta make our beats similar to these YouTubers. There was a producer that recently called me the Mr. Beast of type beats, and like it's actually true because I'm really trying to make my beats as outstanding and recognizable as possible by following this process here. So first we're gonna talk about that. Then arrangement. This has to do with the CTR. Remember we're talking about this stuff. So how we structure our beat in order to make it clean for the artist to freestyle on it, and also to boost our retention rate, because this is what is going to happen if you structure your beat in the right way. This first 30 seconds here, as you see, is the part that it's highlighted by YouTube. This is the most important part ever. So I'm gonna teach you how I take the most advantage of this first seconds to get my audience attention, and how you can do it the same based on the niche that you're choosing, okay? Because every niche has a different type of style, so we're gonna analyze that. And then there's this thing I call the viral effect, which is pretty much something that you're gonna be adding to your beat in order to make it outstanding, okay? It's the same process where if I go to YouTube and I look up any type beat, any artist who looks up type beats, they expect a beat when they click on a video like this. So if you just put music into your video, you know, that's cool. I mean, you're still uploading a type beat, but if you do it in a more outstanding way, we're gonna talk about all of the things that you can do in order to boost the chance of going viral. That's why I call it the viral effect. It's a pretty dumb name, but it does the job. So let's go one by one. Let's first talk about a mix and quality. Now, let's say I want to make, let's do a Detroit beat, okay? So it's just because this beat has popped up here. So we're gonna open this. The first step that I want you to focus on is open the best performing channels in the niche that you want to do, right? Now I'm just going to choose Detroit as an example because it's a decent niche. A lot of people are doing it. This Manu guy is one of the biggest ones in this niche. So what not better way to listen to these beats than by listening to the top performing ones? Okay, so let's click on this one. Now, before I even do anything, actually, let me just open a Google Doc. And as we listen to the beat, I'm going to be taking notes on what I hear on this beat, okay? And you should do this too, because you're really going to have like some type of general guidance in order to make you understand pretty much what type of vibe you want to go for this beats, okay? So let's go by the beginning. I'm going to be writing it here as I play it.
Productions.
Okay, already this could be a thing, right? So this is what I noticed. It got a sample intro. It's around 20 seconds. We're gonna touch on this in a second. Got a clean 808, short punchy drums. So pretty much like the Detroit essentials, okay? Here is where I really want you to niche down, because Brandon, it's also part of your sound palette. This is how I call it. So it's the same reason why I have some producers sending me like some stories or posts where artists use my beats without me even knowing, because they recognize my beats, alright? That's the best place and point you could be at as a producer. And it kind of goes similar to when people start telling you, bro, all of your beats sound the same. For me, that's the best compliment a producer, especially a type beat producer, could get. And it's not in a bad way. It means that people recognize your sound, right? It's the same way where Take It really have those loud ass hi-hats in a lot of his beats. It's making him recognizable, and rappers go to him because they want that specific type of beats, right? So yeah, you have to be versatile. You know, you pretty much have to know how to make everything as a producer. But when it comes to niching down into a specific niche and sound, you really want to be recognizable and the only one that people associate you with that sound, right? So it's the same thing here where, I don't know, I hear some specific traits of this producer, and I've only heard one beat of his, but I'm pretty sure that if I keep listening to his beats, I can become familiar with his sound. And then I'm gonna start associating that sound with him and only him, right? So the color palette is really important, because usually what I suggest you to do is have some specific sounds that you always go for, right? That pretty much define you. So in this case, could be, for example, the Spins 808, really like short. It's really popular in Detroit, like short hi-hats. It could be that specific snare, like, you know, some specific snare sounds. What I also recommend you to do is like choose a specific drum pattern, drum sound, drum kit, right? the more specific you go in this stuff, the more recognizable and unique you're going to be. So really analyze it if it was some market research as well, right? Because this is really important. So what we heard here so far, it's pretty much the general guidelines on how this beat sounds like. Now the second step is, how do I actually make this beat sound similar to this one? Best tip I can give you is compare your beats, right? So once you're done making a beat, now I can show you, like I'll just play a random beat of mine. Let's go on this one, for example, right? This is how my beat sounds like. This is of course not a Detroit beat, right? But if I compare the mixing to this, to me this one is still punching hard, right? So what I do if I were you, once I'm done doing the beat, I'll just save you MP3, whatever you want. You play your beat. Now it's, of course, it's not the same niche, but let's say I had a beat similar to this. I'll literally compare it. Like if your mix is sounding the same or at least like similar quality, then you're good. If you see like a big difference, it's sounding way worse, then you gotta work on it. Okay. Now I'm not gonna be sitting here and give you like a mixing guide, because that's like part of kind of the creative process. So type beats you start in when you're really good, but this is just a check that you want to do in order to make sure you're actually up for the competition. Why this is important is because it's make the artist's job easier to freestyle on it, right? If it's clean, the drums are punchy, they're here through the mix, you can hear them through the mix, it's gonna be way easier for an artist to catch the feeling and keep on freestyling, and guess what happens? You boost your watch time. Now let's go on the arrangement and how you can get some type of analytics similar to this. The general rule here, you want to aim for at least a 30-second intro, because this highlighted blue part that you see here, these are the first 30 seconds of a video, right? And pretty much it tells YouTube if a video is good or not based on how well the audience reacts to this first part of the beat, or of the video in this case. So how do you make it engaging? I'm gonna be telling you some simple techniques that you could be using. But for example, one of them is just having an intro where you don't have the drums until the beat drop, right? So you just pretty much remove them. You could be having like some melodies layers. I can make you some examples, but usually this is what I hear in a lot of R&B beats. Let's actually take this popular channel here. It's from Heartbreak. This guy is probably the best performing channel in the R&B niche. So it's like, I think this is a good example for you to hear. Let's actually listen to a recent beat like this one. And let's analyze the intro and how much this guy makes his audience wait until the beat drops. Alright, so it's been 20 seconds, still no drop. That's what I'm saying here. And the top guys are all doing this method. 35 seconds, still hasn't dropped. And also you see the line here, it's pretty much tells you the most viewed moments. You see, like it's going up closer to the beat drop. So that's what I'm talking about. See, 43 seconds. It means people are replaying this because it's where the beat drops, but it has been 42 seconds. And you see it's just the intro with no drums, just a melody. This is an easy way to boost your watch time. Of course, you can be having 16 bars of the same shit repeating over and over again, so maybe you want to build you want to do it in a sort of way of a build up, but still making this intro engaging, all right? Or for example, just using a structure where you're not letting the beat drop until these 30 seconds. It don't just gotta be a melody at the beginning. I'm just gonna give you a couple of ideas. For example, what I do on my beats is I drop the beat right away, so with some drums. We can call this kind of like I'm pretty much showcasing everything that's inside the beat just to give the attention as soon as possible. And this is for like 8 bars, okay? Then I'm gonna have another section where there's like just the main melody, and it could be 8 bars. So in this part here, I remove the 808, the 16 bars, and then we drop the beat there. And usually for me, this space here, it's 30 seconds. So that's why I really like it. Everything depends. Just the important part is waiting for the drop. Like you really gotta wait these artists. You gotta let these artists wait to hear the beat drop, because that is the main thing that is gonna boost your watch time. Okay. Another general thing that you should know whenever you're going for your arrangement is always making it in a way where there's always subtle changes every 8 bars. That's usually the what I refer to. 8 bars, it could be adding something to the melody, switching the 808 pattern, adding another melody, or simply like removing some stuff for the beat. And on top of that, it's important to follow like some type of structure where you have, this is pretty much on how you like it, but sometimes a lot of beats have like an intro, then a hook section. Shit, I can't really write on the computer, but hook, then you got verse, hook could be again, and then you separate them based on the bar. So usually hook could be 16, then there's one 32, then 16 again, right? So you have like a complete beat. Always switching it up is what is gonna be making you able to keep the beat engaging even once it starts. Like, of course, you've got the attention in the first seconds. You want to try and keep making the beat engaging even after that. Talking about the viral effect, this is where I want to put the most attention into, because it's what a lot of producers get wrong, and this is actually gonna be playing a difference in actually making your beat go crazy viral or no. I'm gonna be making you a couple of examples just because it's easier instead of me just saying shit, so that you can actually visualize it on people and what they're actually doing. Now, generally, the whole idea behind this is to have something that gets attention, all right? It could be a bunch of things, either something you put in the title, in the thumbnail, or inside the beat as well, okay? Now, I'll take my channel as an example just because it's a really good, I know what I'm talking about. It's, of course, what I'm doing, so I think it's probably gonna make sense also for you. But let's take a look at all of my popular videos and what they have in common. Let's take this one, right? It's going crazy viral for me, 100,000 views in 5 days. Let's see what he has there. Alright, first 3 seconds, we already have one. In case you haven't noticed, putting an effects at the intro of your beat is a viral effect. So let's start writing this down. It could be a simple FX. Now, what has made me recognizable and outstanding is using these knock sounds. Now, a lot of other producers, since I started using them, are also using them because they realize that it's something I'm doing also to boost the engagement. Why it works so well? Because these knocks are realistic as fuck, so people engage with it. Look. You see the comments, right? I'm also playing with it because now it's a part of my brand, but that's what is making me hella recognizable, right? Now, it don't gotta just be knocks based on your niche. Like, let's say you're doing R&B, of course you don't want to have some scary ass shit at the beginning of your video, but for example, in that case, it could be something like a tape effects, or simply like I don't know, a lighter, like, like any sounds like that makes sense for what you're doing. In the hood niche, they were also really popular, like the gunshot sounds, drive-bys. Let's say you're doing like a Lil Baby beat, it could be like a speech at the beginning, right? So you're putting something that is not part of the beat, that it's getting the attention. Now let's keep on going.
1 by 1 go 2 by 2, the clock strikes 12 and they all come through. 3 by 3, then 4 by 4, the pockets all stuffed but they still want more. 1 by 1 go 2.
And also notice, I'm also following this pre-drop structure, right? Take a look at the seconds passing by and when the beat actually drops.
The clock strikes 12 and they all come through. 3 by 3, then 4 by 4, the pockets all stuffed but they still
Yeah, what's up?
It's almost 30 perfect seconds, right? So I engineered these beats to go viral, right? In case you haven't noticed, there's another viral effect on this beat, and that's actually vocals. This usually differentiates in 2 things. It could be vocals in the intro or in the beat. Why they work so well? This is something I hear in a lot of beats, and you can apply it pretty much in every niche that you're going for. In this case, it's something dark because my niche, it's hood, it's aggressive, it's always the same shit. I'm probably being repetitive. But the reason why vocals are so catchy is because, think about it, the average listener prefers a genre where there's a singer that's singing words because you can relate to them. It's way easier to follow what someone is singing. That's why jazz is not really as popular as pop, because pop is really easy to listen to and there's people singing on it majority of the cases, okay? This applies the same concept to type beats. Now, in this case, I used in the actual beat is like a chorus, so it's part of the beat, but it's so engaging because you can hear what these kids are singing, right? And I put the same shit that they're saying also on the title. So in this case, I'm creating an expectation by saying this on the title, and I'm respecting that expectation as soon as possible because the beat is actually saying the same stuff, okay? But you can do the same thing also on the intro. For example, recently, I've seen this Ghana channel, and it's doing the same shit. So I'll just play you an example. Let's see what this guy here did. And this is a
Restart.
crazy ass viral beat as well. This is 200,000 views in 13 days.
Reset and refocus as many times as you need. You are your own greatest project.
Right? This is an intro with a speech, okay? So this also worked really well. You might have noticed I also do use these speeches at the beginning, but since this is a Ghana beat, it's more like motivational style, it's more in the mainstream part here, it is actually all connected. You want to use something that is related to this, and what not a better way than like a motivational intro at the beginning of it. Well, for example, if I want to do something more, for example, here on the R&B, I could use like a voicemail by a girl. That's also really popular. That's what Vince, my student here, has been doing, and you see the results, right, for doing that. Or if you're doing hood, I would put something either funny or gangster related in the intro. So it all comes down to the niche you're doing, but this always works. Vocals and simply speech intros, it's like an evergreen thing. Or like some other like viral effects that I can talk about is like specific titles. For example, like I've noticed that very catchy titles for me have been working well. Look, this beat is called Na Na Na. It's not a usual title that you would see on a type beat, but even my most popular ones, No Face No Case, it's catchy. It's it's something you hear in a lot of hood songs. Slow flow, it actually had flow, which is a keyword, right? Flow you can actually play as a keyword, like as a CEO thing. So that's why it's also performing well. Or for even a better example, look at this guy here. Call this beat Glock's Freestyle. Freestyle is also a really good keyword apart from the title because it's related to a freestyle niche like a splurge, okay? In the case of R&B, you see titles related to the topics that this beat touch. Love, all the things I adored is actually the same shit that the sample is saying in the beat, right? So you're creating expectations and meeting them. That's the whole point about it. And these are the viral effect pretty much. When I'm making a beat and I want to post it on my type beat channel, I always at least try to put one. And if I can recommend you something, when you do your market research, right, you're here on YouTube, you're scrolling through beats, you're listening to the top performing ones, try thinking of a whole bunch of lists, a bunch of things that you could put in your list of viral effects, and then you can just alternate them, right? So now I know knocks work well for me, vocals work well, speeches at the beginning work well, catchy titles work well. I can just alternate them, right? So I don't just make always the same shit, but I always know that what I'm presenting to my channel, it's gonna work.
All right, so we've taken a look at how to structure our beats in order to make them go viral. And we also talked about how we relate that basically to the niche that we found. So we pretty much covered these two steps. Now, I think it's really important to actually understand how the YouTube algorithm works. Like, why do some videos actually get views? You could be uploading the same beat to the same channel with two different thumbnails and get different amount of views. That's something that really happens a lot to me because I tend to re-upload some beats since I have something like 1,000 beats on my channel, right? So sometimes when I do not have the time to actually make a new one, I do remake the beat. And sometimes I re-uploaded the same exact beat. I've just changed title and thumbnail. The CTR has been a whole different story and that beat blew up, right? So we're gonna take a look at this and go one by one and explain why exactly each of these things it's crucial to make a beat go viral. Let's actually start from titles and thumbnails, right? I've already showed you my Pinterest folder here. So for every channel, I have a really specific kind of color palette and thumbnail palette that I'm going for, right? So if we want to go for something aggressive, we use some hood pictures like this. While if we want to go for something more R&B-ish, we could have something like this, right? But you've probably noticed that every channel goes really specific with the colors and with the structure of their thumbnails, right? For example, if you look at my most popular beats, what I can break down kind of in general is that the thumbnails that tend to perform best for me are actually the ones where there's a clear subject at the center of the picture and there's a clean background, right? Like even look at these colors, it's always like some yellowish, simple background, right? So I'm not making this shit up. This is the actual colors that work well for me. Look at all of these pictures here. So maybe whenever I use a darker background than usual, like for example this one, the beat tends to perform less better, because that's just how my beats work, right? And you can see, like, by following the structure, I'm recording these videos in chunks. That's why sometimes you see new videos whenever I show my channel. But for example, yesterday I uploaded this one. It got 10,000 views in 15 hours. Why? Because I think that it has nothing special, yeah, but the thumbnail and title combination is a really good one for my channel, so now I can just follow it and get views, right? That's why it's so important. So let's talk about, first of all, how the CTR works, why it's important, and then how to find your consistent type of titles and thumbnails. Right, so I'll show you one of my most popular beats, just because I think it makes more sense if we actually take a look at the actual, like, analytics of a beat, right? Also because this is what you're going to see whenever you start uploading your beats, right? You're gonna have your own YouTube studio, so it's best for you to get comfortable and kind of familiar with what I'm going to be showing here. But a really important tab here is gonna be our either engagement or reach tab. In this case, when we're talking about why people decide to click on a specific video, this is the best tab here. Now, impressions are gonna be the times that this video is being shown to people in general, right? So let's say I'm scrolling through YouTube and this beat pops up on my homepage. That's one impression, okay? So this beat got technically shown to 17.4 million people, like or we could say it like 17.4 million times. This doesn't mean that this is the amount of views that I would have gotten, because the impression click-through rate is 10%. This means that 10% of the people who this video got shown to actually decided to click on it, which resulted in 2.7 million views, okay? So that's pretty much like the simple math, and it pretty much shows you here is like a funnel. The video gets shown, only like a percentage of people decide to click on it. You get views from those impressions, okay? And why it's so important to look at this is because if a video performs well, it's most likely that it has a high click-through rate, because it means that it gets attention, people click on it, you know, it's a good beat, so then we go more on like the retention and stuff. But this is the first step, okay? And it's also what Mr. Biz says. He's like the goat of YouTube pretty much. What he says is, if nobody clicks on your video, you could have the best shit in the world. If nobody clicks on it, you know, nobody's gonna be able to watch it. So you first gotta give people a reason to even click on your video in the first place, right? So that's what click-through rate is about. How do we boost it? There's a couple of ways. So first of all, it's the thumbnail is really important. And with thumbnails, I don't just mean on the single beat, but on the overall structure of your beat. That's why I really, really recommend Pinterest, bro. Like, I can make you hella examples, but let's say I click on a folder like this. The really good thing about Pinterest, if I go on other ideas here, it's gonna be recommending me way similar thumbnails. Boom, I have like a bunch of so many ideas here that I could be adding on my folder. So it makes the job so easier, because I do not have to look for specific colors and stuff. Once I give Pinterest the initial prompt, pretty much, it gives me thumbnails that are similar. So that's one really good thing. And thumbnail, what I want you to do once you start uploading your videos and you see like a certain consistency with your channel, let's say you uploaded 20 videos, that's where you actually want to study them, okay? So that's why I call this like this pretty much more than the YouTube algorithm is also gonna be about data analysis, because you're gonna be get hints from YouTube based on what is working and what not, right? So for me, it's insanity to keep doing the same thing for like 60, even 90 days if nothing is working or nothing is changing, right? It's insanity. You gotta switch up, or at least you gotta read data analysis. You gotta do some type of data analysis in order to understand what is performing best for you, right? So I made the example for my channel. We're gonna also make a couple of examples with other channels, but in my case, told you, clear subject at the beginning and at the center of the picture, my bad, and then a clean, like yellowish, really high contrast background. So that's what I try to aim for, and that's how I know if a thumbnail is good or not. So you're gonna come to a point where it's not just there's gotta be a hood dude in the thumbnail, right? Like, that's not just the only thing you need, because for example, like I guess that a picture like this might not be working best for me, or like something like this, because this is too much color, like the subjects are not clear, so this definitely won't work. Even though like there's guns, there's hood shit, and that's what this channel is about. It's not really how it works. So start thinking in terms of colors and structure of a thumbnail, not really about the subject, right? Because again, like these are girl pictures, right? So you could say I could upload it on an R&B channel because most of these channels use girl pictures. That's not just about it, because this is a blue thumbnail. Well, something like this has a complete different color. That has a complete different color from this one. Okay, so they're all girl related pictures, but it definitely changes the context and the way you show them in your channel, if that makes sense. So it's really important. Like, I'm so focused on thumbnails because I do believe that when it comes to CTR, people look more at the thumbnail than the actual title. And the more consistent and appealing your channel looks, the more views compounding you will get over time, okay? That's why it's important to always stick to the same strategy over and over again, because you're gonna give hints to people, right? For example, I recently, for fun, started this channel, which was a big scar one, because I wanted to test out this new type of thumbnails that were going viral recently, which is basically like straight up gun pictures. And I had this beat here performing best than usual. Because I actually tested it out with these other pictures, right, where there's like a tug in there, you know, this is similar to my Splurge channel, right? So when you see something like this, I know I have to go all in this type of pictures, right? Let's make another example. Let's actually go back to the Heartbreak guy. I really like his channel. Like, it's a really easy explanation for you guys, but taking a look at his channel, right, we see that all of his thumbnails are not just girl pictures. Once again, he probably adds a filter on this on his thumbnails, right? It's like this grainy kind of vintage effect to it. So and also, like, the vibes that these pictures give me is more like a Polaroid picture kind of pic, right? So you can tell. I mean, if you can, I'll just tell you, something like this is not the same, because this is what I call kind of like Instagram vibe, right? This gives you more of a low quality kind of type vibe, right? So it's different from this. So basically what I'm trying to make sure that you understand here is that every channel is hella specific on the vibe that you want to go for, okay? So that's why you gotta start thinking about the actual subject of the thumbnails, more about the vibe and the colors that's inside. I really recommend you a really good site that I've been using recently, and it's called Color Match, and it's this one. For example, as you can see here, I've actually used it for one of my students, but pretty much I adapted this this thumbnail. So this was the one that I had to edit, right? Because you see the colors are different here, and this is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. This one was the best performing thumbnail of one of my students. So I was like, okay, we gotta try to make the channel all look like that, because this is what is getting attention, okay? So once you find a thumbnail like this, right, it's really similar in vibe. It gives you that Polaroid picture, vintage vibe, R&B-ish vibe, but the colors are different. So I use the software to make it similar, and look, they're pretty much the same. So with this, you're sure that you're actually giving your audience something that they already like. So with this being said, this is gonna really highly affect your click-through rate. The beat that I mentioned before that I actually re-uploaded and got way more views than usual is actually this one. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, what's this beat here? Smoke Loud. This is a straight up re-upload from a beat that had something like 2,000 views on it. But look how many more views it got. Let's look at the click-through rate. It's actually a really good one, 12.7%. And when you're making these beats, everything you should try to aim for is between 10 to 20%. That's usually a really good click-through rate. Now, the more views you're gonna get, for example, for the beat I shown you before, and the more average it's gonna become, because it gets shown to way more people. So, like, the amount of impressions and pretty much data that YouTube puts together is gonna make it more average, of course. So usually what I've noticed is that when a beat gets more views, like, kind of the metrics go down in general. But that doesn't mean it's performing less better, because it's obviously getting shown to more people. But this is usually what you should try to aim for. And then apart from the thumbnails that we've talked about, the titles, one general tip that I always follow is go about the vibe also here on the channel, right? So for example, if we're talking about an R&B channel, we want to do something that's related to kind of a Drake vibe, you know, something that you would you would read on a R&B song title, right? So we see here, Time Tells, Last Feeling. Something really important, popular is like putting the, this 2 a.m. freestyle, 4 a.m. in whatever, like something that Drake does. And most of the cases, the function, like the purpose of having a good title and thumbnail, I've already told this, it's about giving expectations, right? So basically, you're like telling the person who this beats gets shown to, yo, look, this is what you're going to find inside this video. So there's a title, eye-catching thumbnail, but when a person clicks on a specific video, in the first seconds, they want to respect the expectations that you created for them. So that's really important, and it's the same reason why a lot of my popular beats have actually hood-related titles and are really catchy. Like, look at this, No Face, No Case. This is like a really popular thing that's usually being said in drill songs and whatever, like blah blah. Or sometimes what I do is I use like the freestyle tag, because that also gives you a CEO score. So a lot of the things that you can do. For example, if you're going for a freestyle niche, like the actual freestyle thing on your title is something really good. If we see in here, I'm pretty sure a lot of these freestyle beats, like these channels here, usually use the word flow in their titles. Also because, yeah, it's related to a freestyle beat, like that's what, it's kind of like the group of words that work well together, but also because it's a really good CEO word. And they always relate it to like the what's inside, like the vibe of the video, right? Same way where here you're doing a sample beat, so you put the sample name on the title, okay? Even here. So titles are not just something random that you give. I actually still try to follow something with it, because they all come together to actually the click-through rate. Now, something also that I want to show you and that it's really important to look at is how you're actually getting your views, right? If you go in advanced mode on one of your videos, now here I'm going to go in analytics, advanced mode. Let me just put lifetime so we have more data to look at. But okay, these are like the amount of views you got. If you go on traffic source, it's actually gonna tell you where you're getting this like views from. So here you see majority of it actually got from suggested videos, playlists, actually it's a lot, YouTube search, other YouTube features, but usually like this first three is what I really look at. Now, if I were you, and if I wanted to take the most advantage out of my channel and this data that YouTube is giving me, I would study who am I getting recommended from, right? So if I click on this, let's actually take a look of what am I getting recommended from, right? So this is, for example, it's actually my beat. It's actually a really popular like freestyle beat that a lot of streamers use. It's got Lizzie Wargo, Splurge, Vanoff, and these are other like freestyle beats. So this is giving me hints that of course my niche is hood, but especially if I want to see if I want to make my beats go even more viral, I want to see what these other people are doing that is making them get views, okay? So that I know that my audience watches this type of stuff. So might as well optimize my content to this type of stuff, okay? And then also YouTube search is good, particularly good, because it tells you where you're ranking, okay? So in my case, again, this is a hood niche. So boom, you see here, I'm actually ranking on the keyword beats or type beat or freestyle beats. Like the actual artist that I'm using, it's only the fourth thing that it's getting me the most amount of views, okay? That's crazy. So this is really telling me that my content is like top of funnel content, right? This is like basic kind of marketing, term, but top of funnel content is usually like top of funnel, yeah, like top, yeah, okay, my bad. Yeah, this is the abbreviation for top of funnel content. Is like content that attracts really a lot of people. Not a lot of them are gonna be qualified. That's why my niche kind of goes more into a viral heavy one. While if you want to do something more micro niche, then you're probably gonna be ranking on keywords where there's the actual artist in there, right? So this is definitely not gonna look like this, but your views are gonna come in from people who actually look your type of beat, okay? I can make you the example also with my Big X the Plug channel. So let's actually take a look at my most popular beat and see the difference between these two. It's actually called this one, Hit the Road, there it is. So once again, I'm gonna go on reach here. Let's actually also take a look at the engagement of this beat, just to kind of like get us an idea. My Wi-Fi is low as fuck. Let's see if I can put the hotspot in here. 12 million impressions. It resulted in a 11.5% click-through rate, which gave us a 2.1 million views. The graphic it's also shown here. majority of it is coming from YouTube search, which is more expected because I'm targeting an actual artist, right? This is not just something that gets recommended. So let's actually take a look again at traffic source. Let's put lifetime here. And in fact, it's mostly from YouTube search. So look at the difference. Let's actually compare these two beats, okay? This is majority from suggested videos and playlists, while this is literally more from traffic from YouTube search. So you see the difference here. This is more of a micro niche type channel, while the other one is a viral heavy one where you literally just want to get views and customers looking at your stuff. This is also why you earn more from a niche like this from AdSense than from the beat sales, while I'm telling you confidently that this was one of my most sold beat. Even in this case though, the most popular one with type beat, freestyle beats, and then we also have big extra plug type beat here. So this is kind of also similar to the case that we had here, but a lot of more views are coming from these searches. So I'm ranking more with an artist picture because they tend to perform better on the YouTube search because you see an artist, you see the title, so it's easier for people looking for a beat to click on it. Well, a beat like this I expect it to get recommended. So that's pretty much the science about titles and thumbnails and why they're so important to make people click on your video. Let's go over to the next one. It's retention and watch time. This is highly related to our beat, but let's actually take a look at the analytics so that you're gonna get the most important things that you have to look at in order to understand if a video is performing well or not. So what signs to take and what's important to focus on. So let's get to the retention. We've talked about how if people don't click on our videos, nothing is gonna happen. Well, if people do click on your video, you better actually hold their attention, right? Because that is what eventually gonna lead you to get more and more views over time. The retention is pretty much how well people engage with your video, okay? So the more they watch, the more views it's gonna get because it tells YouTube, yo, this is a good video, it's engaging people, it's making them spend time on your platform, which means that YouTube is gonna put more ads in your video, which is gonna make you earn more, right? That's pretty much the science about it. Of course, if the channel is monetized, it happens, okay? Watch time is pretty much, as the word says, the average time that a viewer spends watching your video. So we gotta look at these metrics, understand how they're important, and actually how to read if a bit is doing good or not and why. So this is one of my recent best performing videos. Okay, I uploaded this 6 days ago, got 600,000 impressions already, so by now you should already know this stuff. 14% click-through rate. For the moment we have 120,000 views in here, okay? It's currently like ranking more on YouTube search, so just for the sake of this video, let's actually look at why this beat is like from where we're actually getting this. Let's look at this. Boom, again, it's always the same stuff: beats, type beat, type beats. So you know, the idea is always there. Now when it comes to the retention, it's a little bit different because again, this is pretty much the metrics that play a part when people are actually watching your video. So it's pretty much the second step. Okay, this shit is getting really confusing right here, but it means that we're actually spilling sauce, okay? The important part, we go to the engagement tab that you see here. You're gonna be seeing this in every analytics section of your video, right? Pretty much what I did. Just go here, you click on the video that you want to analyze, analytics, we go to engagement, boom, we have it here. So let's take a closer look at this graphic here. This is gonna be your go-to and what you gotta analyze. Now, just because I'm used to this, I can tell you that this graphic, it's a really good one. Especially the general idea that you want to follow and that you want to focus on is this highlighted part here. A good graphic is the one that is gonna be as flat as possible in this section that it's highlighted. And you can see I pretty much like really got to this point. It's normal then for the graphic to kind of slow down because people are gonna start freestyling, but the attention just kind of slows off because, I mean, yeah, who wants to keep freestyling? You know, they're gonna get at the end of the video. This is around 10% of the viewers, so it's around like 10,000 people. I'm not really good at math, but that's pretty much it out of the 120,000 views that we got. So pretty much our whole point is to try and hold the attention as best as we can for this first parts. Now you're gonna notice this is 120% at the beginning. How is that even possible? Like more people than the people who have clicked on this video are watching this part? No, I mean I wish, but this pretty much means that people who clicked on this video are replaying this part first. So this could mean two things: either people who started freestyling to this then went back to the beginning because they wanted to freestyle again, or I put something at the beginning that is really weird and that is getting attention. So let's listen to what this has here. The fucking knock sound, right? Engagement. Let's go back to our viral effects that we were talking about this. I use this. I could have used this or any other shit. Like you can see that I'm alternating this, bro. I'm not saying bullshit. For example, if we take a look at this, okay, this beat is still not uploaded, but let's listen to what I did here at the beginning. If it plays.
Hey, you want to know something?
Pitch, all right. I'm always putting a viral effect because I know the importance of this graphic, like the retention graphic, and I'm trying to get it as flat as possible. So, for example, an FX sound really gets the attention because it's something unexpected, while a speech is easier to follow. So like people are just gonna let the video slide pretty much, like just gonna keep watching with the video because they can keep hearing what the people, like the person, it's saying in the intro, right? So that's why this graphic is so important, especially you want to understand where majority of the people are clicking off. In this case, it's pretty much like clean. It doesn't have a lot of big drop-offs. So this means that I pretty much got the strategy of my arrangement dialed in. And if we go back to our beat part here, this is where the arrangement plays part. So you can tell, like the reason why I'm always going back to this board that we've talked about before is because the arrangement, the retention is pretty much like all related to how you make your beat, right? So usually like when I put an intro, I don't really put it on the beat store that I'm using to sell those beats, just because of course like when an artist purchases the beats, let's say I'm using a sample as an intro, then I'm removing it when I'm putting on my beat store, where I'm putting like an effects or a speech at the beginning. I do not want to put it on the beat store just because an artist wants to buy the beat, like doesn't want like the whole intro and everything. So you can also tell the difference here from getting attention to actually selling the product, because the product is the beat itself, but we gotta get creative in order to get attention, okay? So this graphic is really the all important part that I will really look at in order to understand the video. Now, a lot of one mistake that I see a lot of producers are doing is focus too much on these metrics whenever they're just starting to upload. I'm telling you that if you only get 20 views on your video, it doesn't make sense to look at metrics like this. Like you gotta let your channel at least breathe with a couple of uploads in order to actually understand these metrics, right? Because a lot of the cases when you only have like 5 viewers, let's say like a viewer watches the whole thing, like this graphic is gonna be pretty much the whole fucking way flat at 100%. But of course that doesn't mean that it's a good beat, because maybe not a lot of people are clicking on it, it's not getting suggested, right? So you kind of get into this mindset here. And pretty much like for engagement, this is really about it. Other important thing, it's the average view duration. So it kind of tells you where viewers are in the average stopping to view your beat, right? So around this is 1 minute and 22 seconds, because in my structure is where I have the hook, then verse starts playing. So I guess that when the verse starts playing, some people just click off the video, which is normal, right? But this resulted in 2.7k, so 1,000 hours of watch time. This is again the sum, the total of the hours that are being spent on this video, which is pretty crazy, right? Here you can also see another really useful tab, which is the unique viewers. So are pretty much like new viewers that are coming to your channel to actually listen to these beats. This is not to this beat, so this is not considering the subscribers or people who already watched like this video, right? It's just unique viewers. So resulted in 293 subscribers just from one video. This is how crazy it can get, okay? And I think this is really pretty much about engagement. Like it's more important for you to focus on making the beat than actually reading the metrics. This is only important to understand if what you're doing is right or wrong, right? That's the way why I want to look at a graphic like this. Now, talking about branding, we're pretty much gonna cover this in the next step, but I'm just gonna give you a couple of words and why branding is so important, and it also plays a role in the actual YouTube algorithm, okay? Because now I've told you pretty much everything that you can do to get views, get viral beats, and read the metrics of your beat, but this is not going to happen if you only apply to one video, right? This is gotta be something consistent that you keep doing in all of your videos. Even like this big X Upload channel that I'm showcasing here, I'm always following the same structure, same thumbnail and title. And there's also been a period where I was kind of testing out different type of styles and thumbnails here. See, this is where like I also tried the hood type here, but this ended up working best, so I just ended up keep going with this, right? So that's also what you have to do, and I highly recommend you to do. Branding, it's pretty much how the channel presents yourself. The general idea that I follow is I want to showcase my channel as if it was a website, right? So even something as dumb as the profile picture, the banner, or the title gotta be clean, right? Gotta position yourself as a premium channel. So usually what I recommend is putting a logo that doesn't have too many colors that are not related to your channel. A really good example is events that I've been working on. He's one of my students, and he did his thing perfectly, right? R&B beat.
Abbiamo interrotto il tuo video.
Shit. R&B beats, the vibe is pretty like chill, so these colors are also kind of goes well to the thumbnails he's using. So you know, this results in a channel that is good look, you know, so with a clean title, everything looks perfect. So you want to aim for something like this. Let's actually talk about this further though when it comes to how we upload our beats to our channel. So this is gonna be the structure as you create your channel that you have to follow in order to have your channel looking right, okay? So if you go on your settings of your YouTube channel, you're gonna see the upload defaults tab here, right? So this is where you want to go. I pretty much clicked on settings. This is a new channel, I'm just using it as an example. And you want to go on this tab here. So what is this gonna give you? It's pretty much the structure that is gonna apply to every beat, right? So now once I save this and I go to upload to be uploading a video, this is gonna automatically pop up on some of our videos in our videos, okay? So for the title, this really depends on the niche that you want to look at. So again, coming back to everything that we've said so far, we're doing something more underground. We gotta focus on these non-capitalized letters on here. If we're doing something like a hood stuff, we want to keep a structure similar to this, while if we're doing something freestyle, we want to capitalize some letters, right? So this is just a general guideline, okay? Usually like the structure that you would follow is the free tag, and even here like this changes, because even if I put parentheses like this, I'm telling you that a parenthesis like this works best for a niche where there's an artist on it, right? So for example, if I want to do a Drake type beat, this might be something best. How do I know this stuff? It's simply by looking at what works, bro. Like it's as simple as that. So just look at what is working in your niche and apply it to your own channel, right? So in this case, I'm just gonna do it like this, and usually the general structure is artist type beat, and then we're gonna put the title in there. So something like this, right? This is the general structure that every type beat uses. In case you want to add another artist, you would do something like this. So this is gonna be the secondary artist. I always try to keep the first one as the main one, right? So for example, first we're talking about like a niche like Gunner X Young Thug. Young Thug is like a secondary artist that we do not want to focus our channel on, so Gunna is gonna be the main one. We're gonna put it as first. Other tags that are usually good are, for example, the 2026 or like whatever year we're on. For example, 2026 as I'm recording this video, or also eventual like other keywords. Like for example, let's go back to our artist as we put here. Artist sample type beat if you're using a sample, or something that I also like doing is adding another tag here, like for example hard. When it's a hard beat, that's usually like a popular one that I've seen a lot of videos. But pretty much just know that here is where you put your title, right? So if I'm following a structure like this, which is for example the case with a lot of my channels and even the Big X Plug one, I mean here, yeah, I'm putting the sample keyword on it. This is the one that I use on my main channel, but that's gonna apply to every beat that then I'm starting to upload. Now here we get to the important part. The description is the call to action of all of your videos, right? The call to action is pretty much what you want people to do when they watch your video, right? What do we want artists to do is to purchase our beat, of course. So the first thing, guess what, is gonna be the link to purchase the beat. I always try to put it as something like at least aesthetic. So I would put like an emoji like this and make it look really professional. So something like this, purchase this beat, okay? You could even put like untagged. If you do not want to have your tag on it, I'll still put my tag on it because I like it, but some people do it to incentivize artists to purchase it. For example, what I do is I put high quality in high quality, right? Because it's gonna be a WAV file. So you can put whatever you want. So just make it look clean like this. So here's where it's gonna be the link. And I also highly recommend you to offer a bulk deal on whatever beat store you're using. So usually what I do, it's a buy two, get one free, okay? Just so we really make sure that artists know we're launching this offer. And that's gonna be the main link. Like we gotta leave it there. The second tab that's usually important is the contact me one. So we're gonna leave it like this, and then here you can put all of the information that you want people to know about you, right? So usually I put Instagram as first because it's the main way I want artists to reach out to me. So you can put Instagram here, and you can put your handle. For example, in my case, it's Daniel. What's up? If you haven't already, like, go follow me. I'm also speeding salsa on my Instagram. Then usually you could be putting also the email, so it could be whatever prod, and then gmail.com, for example, something like this, and then we leave it there. We're pretty much putting the actions in order of importance, right? So for me, the important part is an artist to purchase my beat, and then maybe to contact me if they want to either DM me directly or whatever they want to use it for. Then I also like to explain what free stands for, right? Just to make sure that you have it on your description. That's what is gonna stop a lot of people from purchasing your beats. So usually what I would write is something like free for non-profit only, and then you can also explain like if you want to drop a song on all platforms, you must purchase a license, something like this, okay? Just to make sure kind of like you're giving the rules of you showing this beat on YouTube pretty much. If you want, and this is optional, you could have the key and BPM. That's something I like doing just because I think it makes easier for an artist to then download the beat. So it just makes the process more smooth. Now let's actually go to the tags for a little. Here, some important parts, like some important things that you should know. Usually what I do when it comes to tags, it's really simple. Pretty much the whole concept is you want to play around the title, okay? So in this case, let's just make the example of Ghana. Let's say I'm gonna be dropping Ghana type beats on this channel. There's some general keywords that I always put in every one of my titles because they help me rank, right? And we've seen it before. If I click on any of my popular videos, you see that we're actually ranking also on the keyword beat, type beat, and actually that's the majority, like where we're getting majority of our views from. So again, here we go on traffic source, lifetime. Let's just to remember, we go on YouTube search. This actually is gonna help you understand why I'm putting these keywords here. But pretty much the keywords that I always use are the one free. So you can write this down. Then the year. So in this case, it's gonna be 2026. Free for profit is a really good one. I should have written down with the text, but this also does the job. Free 2026, free for profit. And then I try to go for a second artist also with it. So I'm gonna put it like this. I don't want to write artist, so just remember it's gonna be another person, okay? So these are the ones that I usually follow. So for example, applying it to this example, we're doing Ghana, right? First of all, I'll start just with the title, Ghana type beat, okay? Once we have that, then we can start adding these keywords. So for example, let's start using free 2026 and free for profit. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm gonna put in free Ghana type beat like this. Free for profit Ghana type beat 2026, and then you can also mix them up. So what I'll do is free Ghana type beat 2026. Probably write it down wrong. Okay, I mean it's just for the sake of this video, actually typed it wrong, but free for profit Ghana type beat 2026. When you feel like you're losing the combinations, then you can just go to the second artist. So for example, I think Young Thug is an artist that really goes well with Ghana. We can go Young Thug type beat, and then we do the same process here. So free Young Thug type beat, free Young Thug type beat 2026, and then we can have Young Thug type beat 2026. And this is a boring process, but it's important to boost the SEO score of your video. And then once you dump the artists by themselves, you can also mix them up, right? Because that's we've talked about it, like probably with these mainstream artists it's best to have something like this, right? So we could do that, Ghana X Young Thug, and then we follow the same exact process. So we start adding those secondary keywords to these titles, right? Now I want you to be careful, because when you come to around the end, so like around 400 of a keyword, I'll start putting the more generic ones, because we've seen that they really help you stand out and like rank when people are searching these terms. So that's gonna be type beat, free beat. This is usually like the general ones I use. You can pretty much copy and paste this. Instrumental could also be a good one. And then also here, I'm gonna be using these keywords here even on the generic ones, right? So this is gonna be, we already put free type beat, 2026, beat 2026, rap beats, type beats. This should be good. And then sometimes I also like to just add the artist keyword in there. So this already like a good amount of tags. And what I do then, I just pick these tags and paste them in the description. So I usually add this section here where I put tags, then I say ignore, and we're gonna have them like this. Now this is actually not the best way to do it, because I recommend to have this separated by a comma. Now usually when you copy and paste them from a video, there's the option to actually here to copy and paste the keywords. You could even use like ChatGPT to make them separate by a comma. I mean, right now I'm just gonna leave them like this. So now from the moment I click save, if I want to upload any beat on this channel, boom, you see here, everything is already here. And you see we're also ranking 100 out of these, so it means that it's a really good description. We got the tags here. This is what I meant when you click copy and paste them. So actually let's do that. This is actually the way you would do it. It's best to do it. It also looks cleaner. And you have everything ready like this. So you would put your link here and then your title, whatever you want to use it, right? Random ass one. And this is the process, bro. Like, it's really, really easy. Now let's talk about how you should present your channel, okay? I'm gonna be using my main channel as an example, just because I already have everything set up here, but just a couple of important stuff that you should know. First of all, you want to go on the customization tab. The important parts are gonna be your profile picture and the banner. General guidelines, you want to find your color palette or kind of branding. For example, in my case, it's black with this like white text. And the reason why I chose it, because it really goes well with the branding overall of my channel, right? Like, you see a lot of black in my thumbnails, for example, these gaps here, and also like, you know, the hood aesthetic goes well with this color. So that's what I decided to do. I'm positioning myself as premium and intentional. That's the point about it, right? Even if I show you my student Shogo, it's the one who's making 10K a month right now. Let's actually look his channel up. I really like the way we set up his channel. And you see, like, there's a really clean logo in there and a banner that makes sense for the niche that he's doing, because this is like colorful, kind of R&B-ish type of thumbnails. So it goes really well together. It's intentional, clean profile picture and clean logo. I wouldn't really see my logo on this type of channel, because this is more like aggressive and street style rather than something like this, okay? So that's the point I'm trying to make here. Keep the title clean. On the description, I also usually put my tags in there just because it boosts the SEO score. And I also make sure like my, you know, my kind of like the guidelines of using my beats are there. I mean, that's not as important, just like the tags are there. And then on the home tab is also something important. You want to have this enabled, right? Because that means that when a person clicks on your channel, they see something immediately, and it's gonna make them way easier to start consuming your content rather than just having this page empty, which is something I see a lot of producers have, and it's definitely not good for you, right? So usually the way I do it, I have a For You section, which is basically like YouTube suggesting the best content to people. Then I have the video section, so it's gonna be here, the videos one. The popular videos I also put in there, like there's a reason why they're performing well, so I just have it there. And then, I mean, yeah, there's also the post section. That's just something I have, but it's just to put something on this page, right? I also have a beat displayed here, and it's one of my best performing ones, because again, if this is converting well, we want to have it as our highlighted video. So there's gonna be two options here: channel trailer for people who haven't subscribed. This is for people who are new to your channel and aren't subscribed, and that's the video they see. While for returning subscribers, I just have another one, which is also a really well performing one for me. So that's the reason why I have them there. And this is about it. This is how you set up your channel correctly. And I think we covered everything like right now in this video. This is a process and it takes some time. Like, again, I usually try to aim for like at least 30 videos to tell if a channel can perform well or not. Now, I do want to make something really clear now, because we come to the end of this video. I know you're serious if you come to this far, so I want to talk to you directly, like if I were as an actual friend, like talking to you, because the reason why I'm making these videos for free is because I'm confident and I know that information is not everything, right? Like, you could be knowing everything about type beats, but it's about how you put it in practice. So just know that information is not everything. It's about the way you correctly put it in practice. And that's the reason why I work one-on-one with students and I don't just sell a course, right? Like I don't just sell some type of information out there. I actually want to take hands in your situation and I give you your personalized roadmap based on your situation, the beats you love making and how you want to go about your channel. The link is going to be in the description for that. You're going to be able to book a call with my business partner, and if you're a good fit, you're in. All right, so that's really for the serious people, and it's the best shortcut if you don't want to guess and you just want me to guide you and help you start getting your channel monetized. With this being said, this was really it for the video, bro. I really wish you the best of the luck with your journey. Hope this video was useful, and I'll see you on the next one. So peace out.